All right, so welcome to another deep dive. Today, today we're going to be wading into some pretty intriguing legal concepts,
Oh, yeah.
specifically common law, natural law, and God's law,
Mm.
all kind of stemming from this TikTok video that seems to be making some waves online.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, isn't it? How like a short video like that can spark such a huge conversation.
It's really incredible, yeah. It's like this little window into this like whole world of ideas and people and all sorts of things.
Mm.
So for you, the listener, here's the setup. We have this video that was uploaded on December 11th by a user named Owen-House of Tapine.
Okay.
And it features this woman, I think we'll just call her Liz, since that's what everyone in the comments is calling her,
Yeah, sounds good.
speaking very passionately about, well, we don't know exactly what yet.
Right.
But the overlaid text on the video gives us some clues. We've got hashtags like mass awakening, all caps,
Oh, wow.
common law, natural law, God's law.
Whoa, that's some pretty attention-grabbing stuff.
Definitely attention grabbing.
Yeah.
And it seems to have worked because the engagement on this video is really something else.
It really is. I mean, 57 comments, and a lot of those have replies like, Liz clearly struck a nerve with this one.
She really did. But before we get into exactly how people are reacting to it,
Yeah.
maybe we should back up a little bit.
Okay.
Because, I mean, these terms that she's using, they're not exactly everyday language.
You're right. You're right. You've probably heard them before, but they can be a little slippery to define.
For sure.
Let's take common law, for example.
Okay.
So common law is often contrasted with statutory law, which is like the written rules passed by legislatures.
Right.
Common law, on the other hand, is built on judicial precedent, meaning that it evolves over time based on the outcomes of court cases.
So basically, it's like the rulings of judges in the past influence how future cases are decided.
Exactly, exactly. Think of it as like a system where law is constantly being shaped by, real-world situations.
Oh, okay. That's pretty different from just having this set of fixed rules.
It is, it is. It's much more dynamic.
Okay, so where does natural law fit into all of this?
So natural law takes things in a little bit more of a philosophical direction.
Okay.
It's based on the idea that there are certain rights and moral principles that are inherent to human nature itself, regardless of what any government or legal system might say.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, thinkers like, Aristotle and John Locke, they wrote extensively on natural law.
I see.
And it's been invoked throughout history to, like, challenge unjust laws or assert fundamental rights.
Okay, so there's this idea of a higher law
Right.
that kind of trumps what's actually like written down
Exactly.
on paper, which makes the hashtag God's law even more interesting.
Yes, that one definitely adds another layer to the mix.
Yeah.
While God's law is open to, various interpretations,
Right.
it often refers to like a divinely ordained moral code that believers strive to follow. Depending on one's beliefs, it might be seen as the ultimate source of natural law or as a separate but equally important set of principles.
It's almost like Liz is kind of weaving together these different threads, like,
Yeah.
legal systems,
Yeah.
human rights,
Yeah.
and moral beliefs.
Yeah, absolutely. And that combination seems to have really resonated with viewers.
It really has, and that's why we're here today, to dive in.
Yeah.
So let's actually look at some of those reactions in the comments.
Okay.
We've got one commenter who asks, how can we sue these police cooperation for the wrongs they've done?
Oh, wow.
Seems like someone's ready to take action.
That's interesting, and it's interesting how that comment might tie back to the concept of common law.
Oh, how so?
Well, some proponents of common law believe that it provides a framework for holding those in power accountable, even if their actions aren't explicitly prohibited by a written statute.
Yeah.
So it's about looking at past rulings and saying, hey, this kind of behavior has been deemed unlawful before, so it should be unlawful now.
So it's not just like venting their frustration. They're actually thinking about ways to leverage these legal concepts to try to achieve a specific goal.
That's impressive.
It is. It shows how Liz's video might be prompting people to think about law and justice in new ways.
For sure. And speaking of prompting, this next comment is pretty wild. We need you to run our country, Liz.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow. Talk about putting someone on a pedestal.
That's quite a statement.
It really is. It suggests that, Liz's message has tapped into some, deep desire for leadership that aligns with a particular set of values.
Values that maybe they feel aren't being represented by, their current leaders.
Exactly. It's almost as if Liz is being seen as this symbol of something bigger, like a figurehead for a movement.
It's possible, and that movement seems to resonate beyond a specific location.
Oh, how so? Another comment reads, "The same BS is happening in Australia."
So whatever Liz is talking about here, it's hitting a nerve that goes way beyond just her immediate audience.
Absolutely. I think it suggests a shared sense of frustration, or maybe even a feeling that, the traditional systems and structures just like aren't working as they should.
Right, and a lot of the comments echo that sentiment. We see things like, the government is corrupt, we all need to rise as one. There's a real sense of solidarity brewing in these responses.
Yeah, there is. There is. It seems like Liz has tapped into this like vein of sentiment that resonates with a particular worldview, one that might be, a little skeptical of established authority and open to exploring these like alternative concepts of law and governance.
Fascinating.
It is. But what's really fascinating is how this is all playing out on a platform like TikTok.
Right. It's not exactly where you'd expect to find these in-depth discussions about legal philosophy.
Well, you're right. You're right.
It makes you wonder what it is about this medium that's allowing these ideas to spread so quickly.
Yeah, and gain such traction.
Yeah, like, is it the bite-sized format?
Yeah, maybe.
The way that, like, complex ideas can be condensed into these really easily digestible snippets?
It could be. Or perhaps it's the sense of community that, platforms like TikTok foster, where people can connect with others who, like, share similar views and feel empowered to voice their opinions.
It's like this virtual town square where people are gathering to debate, share ideas, and maybe even find a sense of belonging.
Exactly. And in that virtual town square, Liz seems to have struck a chord,
Definitely.
Igniting a conversation that's reaching far beyond the confines of her initial video.
It's incredible to see how this, like, single spark can set off this firestorm of discussion.
It really is.
But before we get too carried away with the metaphors,
Great.
I think it's time to dive even deeper into these comments and see what else we can uncover about the ideas and the motivations that are driving this online movement.
I agree. I think there's a lot more to unpack here, and I have a feeling things are about to get even more interesting.
All right, well, let's do it then.
It's striking how many of these comments seem to be yearning for something more, something different.
You're right, yeah. Like, there are several comments that are calling for Liz to, like, come back and make more videos.
Right.
Who is this woman? We need to protect her. With a prayer hands emoji.
Wow.
Liz, please come back again. NZ needs people like you. It's like they found this voice that they can believe in.
Yeah, it seems like she's become a sort of lightning rod for these like feelings of dissatisfaction with the way things are, with the status quo.
Right.
And it's not just about wanting things to be different, it's about like seeking these alternative ways to actually achieve those changes.
Yeah.
Remember that comment about suing the police?
Oh, yeah, that one really stuck with me.
Yeah, and it makes me think about how these concepts of common law and natural law might be seen as like tools for empowerment.
Oh,
ways for like individuals to assert their rights and to challenge authority.
Instead of relying solely on laws passed by politicians, they're looking to like a system based on precedent.
Exactly.
On the wisdom of past rulings.
Yeah.
To try to find solutions to present-day problems.
Right. It's like they're saying we don't need the government to tell us what's right or wrong.
Right.
We can look to history and our own shared understanding of justice to guide us.
That's a really good point.
And it connects to the idea of natural law as well.
Okay.
If you believe that like certain rights are inherent to all humans,
right,
regardless of what any government says, then you might be more inclined to challenge laws that you see as unjust, or even to create like alternative systems of governance altogether.
It's almost like they're saying, look, if the current system isn't upholding these fundamental principles, but then we have a right, even a duty, to try to seek something better.
Right.
And for some, that something better might be rooted in these concepts of common law and natural law.
That's right. And it's important to acknowledge that these ideas can be very appealing, especially to those who feel marginalized or disenfranchised by the current system. They offer a sense of hope, a belief that things can be different, that there are alternative paths to justice and like a more equitable society.
But we have to acknowledge that there are also like potential risks involved.
Oh, for sure.
Not everyone agrees on what constitutes natural law
Right.
or how common law should be applied.
Exactly.
And if everyone just starts picking and choosing which laws they're going to follow based on like their own personal interpretation,
Yeah.
it could lead to chaos and instability.
Yeah. You've hit on a really key point there.
Yeah.
The potential for misinterpretation or even manipulation of these concepts
Right.
is a very valid concern. And it's important to recognize that a wholesale rejection of existing legal frameworks could have unintended consequences.
For sure. For sure. It's not as simple as just being like, let's just throw everything out and start over based on common law.
Right. Exactly.
Or natural law.
Yeah.
There needs to be like
Yeah.
a way to acknowledge the like strengths of these ideas,
Mm-hmm.
but also safeguard against the potential, pitfalls.
Absolutely. And it's a conversation that deserves like careful consideration, not just like immediate dismissal.
I'm also thinking about how this whole movement is playing out online.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that these discussions are happening on TikTok,
Right.
a platform known for like short,
Yeah,
attention-grabbing videos,
totally.
it raises some interesting questions.
It does. It does. On the one hand, it's like fantastic that these complex ideas are being disseminated and discussed by, a wider audience.
For sure.
TikTok has this power to like break down barriers and democratize access to information.
In ways that were unimaginable just a few years ago.
Like this like crash course in legal philosophy.
Yeah.
But it's delivered in these like bite-sized chunks.
Right, exactly.
But then like I also wonder if the format itself might lead to oversimplification or even distortion of these concepts. It's easy to get caught up in these like catchy slogans and sound bites without like fully grasping all the nuances and complexities involved.
Absolutely. And it highlights the importance of critical thinking, of not just, accepting everything you see online at face value.
Right.
It's crucial to like dig deeper, seek out multiple perspectives,
Yeah.
and to engage in, thoughtful discussions that go beyond those superficial sound bites.
So for you, the listener, as you're encountering these ideas online or even in your own conversations, remember to approach them with a healthy dose of like curiosity and skepticism.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to like ask questions, challenge assumptions.
Seek out evidence to support the claims that are being made.
Informed engagement is key because at the heart of this whole discussion is something like truly vital. A desire for a more just and equitable world.
Absolutely.
Whether you agree with the specific approaches being advocated or not,
Right.
it's important to recognize the like underlying sentiment that's driving this movement.
For sure.
People are seeking answers, yearning for change, searching for ways to like make their voices heard.
Okay.
And that's something worth paying attention to.
Absolutely.
Regardless of where you stand on the specifics of, common law, natural law, or any other ideology.
It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of like our societies and legal systems.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether it's through, engaging in these thoughtful discussions, advocating for reforms, or simply staying informed about, the issues at stake, like our actions matter.
They really do.
It's about recognizing that the pursuit of justice is an ongoing process, one that requires constant dialogue, critical thinking, and a willingness to like challenge the status quo.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe this TikTok video, all of its like passionate comments and diverse perspectives is just one small step in that larger journey.
I like that.
That's a beautiful thought.
It is.
And it brings us to this crucial question.
Oh, okay.
What do these yearning comments, these pleas for Liz to return, tell us about the like human need for leadership and connection?
Yeah, it is interesting, isn't it? This yearning for Liz to lead, to guide. It's so interesting how that emerges from these comments.
I know, right? And especially considering we never actually hear Liz speak in the video.
Right.
We're left with these hashtags and this inspirational music, and then all of a sudden, bam, this like outpouring of emotion in the comments.
It's almost as if like the video itself is just this catalyst, this spark that ignited something much, much larger.
Right.
Like people are projecting their hopes and their desires onto Liz.
Yeah.
Seeing in her like a potential solution to all the frustrations they're feeling.
And that speaks to, such a powerful human need for connection, for belonging, for someone who can like articulate and validate our experiences, especially in times of, uncertainty or disillusionment. It's like we crave these figures who can offer like a sense of hope, a sense of direction.
It makes me wonder, though, if this, like, yearning for a singular leader, a savior figure, is, like, misplaced.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. You think so?
Well, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the, like, charisma of a single person.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, real lasting change requires a much broader effort.
Right.
Like a commitment from an entire community
Yeah.
to work together towards a shared goal.
And, maybe that's also what we're seeing in these comments as well.
Hey, interesting, yeah.
Yes, there's this like outpouring of support for Liz, but there's also a sense of like collective energy there.
Yeah.
A shared desire for something better.
Mm-hmm.
Like people are connecting with each other, expressing solidarity,
Yeah.
brainstorming ideas for action.
So maybe Liz's video isn't so much about her as an individual,
Right.
but about the movement that she seems to, like, represent.
Yeah.
It's like she's become this symbol, this, like, focal point for these shared aspirations.
That is such a good observation.
It's like she's holding up a mirror to society,
Mm-hmm.
reflecting back all the hopes and the fears and the frustrations that everyone is feeling.
Exactly.
And maybe in that reflection, we see a glimpse of, like, a possible path forward.
Yeah.
Not one that's reliant on a single leader,
Right.
but on, like, a collective awakening,
Mm-hmm.
a recognition that we all have the power to shape our own destinies.
I love that. And maybe that's like the true message of this deep dive.
Yeah.
The takeaway for you, the listener.
Okay, yeah, give it to them straight.
Don't just wait for someone else to come along and lead the way,
Right.
Engage with the ideas that resonate with you.
Mm-hmm.
Connect with others who share your values.
Yeah.
And most importantly, take action
Yes.
to create the change that you want to see in the world.
Well said.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for joining us on this little journey of exploration and discovery.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
It was. It really was.
We went deep.
Deeper than usual.
That's the point of a deep dive.
You got it.
So until next time, keep questioning, keep learning.
Yeah, keep that conversation going.
And we'll catch you in the next deep dive. See you then.